Dear friends, welcome back to our channel, where we share insights for self-improvement through great books. Today, I'm returning with a video about a classic masterpiece, one of those essential books everyone must read. A few weeks ago, we discussed The Little Prince and the idea that the more you desire, the more you suffer. This week, I'd like to share more about another famous novel, The Old Man and the Sea*, with the promise that understanding it will make you stop complaining about your work. Let's begin. In 1954, Hemingway was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature for his novel The Old Man and the Sea*. The story is simple. An old man goes out to sea to fish. After 3 days and nights of arduous struggle, he catches a giant marlin. But on the morning of the third day, as he kills the fish with a harpoon, ties it to the side of his skiff, and heads back, a school of sharks catches its scent and attacks. The old man bravely fights to the very end, throwing his harpoon and driving them away. Yet, when he finally returns to shore and looks at his marlin, only a bare white skeleton remains, its flesh devoured by the sharks. For the old man, fishing was his job and his only means of livelihood. Perhaps he couldn't excel at this work, but he had to persevere to survive. Someone once said that when you try your best in your career but constantly face failure, you should read The Old Man and the Sea*. After reading this classic, you won't easily complain about your own work anymore. Hitting rock bottom is a state everyone experiences on life's uphill journey. Santiago, a thin, gaunt Cuban fisherman, makes a living by fishing. For 84 consecutive days, he caught nothing and was considered the unluckiest old man in the fishing village. Younger fishermen often mocked him. But facing life's contempt, the ridicule of his peers, or the uncomprehending gazes of others, the old man wasn't disheartened in the slightest and never worried. Every early morning, he still embraced the first rays of sunlight and went fishing as usual, with a firm belief that he would certainly bring home a catch. Many times in our lives, we are like old Santiago. We work hard but see no progress. We need to understand that doing any job is like climbing a mountain. Don't be discouraged, even if we are at the bottom of the abyss. Because when you're at the bottom, no matter which direction you go, it can only lead you uphill. There has never been an easy job in this world. Only those who are resilient and determined can overcome challenges. Many people, when faced with a job that doesn't meet their expectations, instinctively want to change it. But think about it. If you get another job, will everything truly get better? The answer is not necessarily. We need to understand that when a job doesn't immediately meet our expectations, we shouldn't hastily deny ourselves. Instead, persevere and try it for a while longer. The days when you put in a lot of effort without seeing results should be called the days you are cultivating roots and nurturing sprouts. Be persistent and do well the things within your reach, giving your best in every moment. In the end, time will yield beautiful results. Success can be delayed. After 84 consecutive days with no catch, old Santiago finally hooked a big fish on the 85th day. He probed, reached out, pulled the line, and felt a powerful tug. With his years of fishing experience, he knew for sure it was a large fish. But because of the immense difference in strength, the old man couldn't pull the huge fish into his skiff. Instead, he was dragged forward by it for a day and a half. The old man wanted to subdue the great fish, but he couldn't. His hands began to bleed, and he had no choice but to transfer the line's tension to his left shoulder, kneeling in the skiff. The corner of his eye was injured, his left hand cramped, and the back of his hand started to bleed and stain. Tormented and wounded by the great fish, the old man knelt in the skiff, resilient and unyielding. Isn't this an image of him steadfastly waiting for a delayed outcome, a success that comes late? I see the old man's fishing process as a portrait of our reality at work. You stay up all night writing a plan, only to be criticized by your boss for not being thorough enough. You've been negotiating with a client for a long time, on the verge of success, but in the end, the client chooses someone else to sign the contract. You work hard every day, expecting to be justly rewarded, but the results are not what you hoped for. I know a young writer named Liu Song. After graduating from university, he worked at a television station. But there, no matter how hard he tried, he wasn't recognized. Some leaders said he wasn't suitable for the media industry at all. He was even mocked by many who questioned his ability, suggesting he got in through connections. Faced with countless doubts, criticisms, and rejections, Liu Song felt incredibly wronged and cried countless times. Years later, looking back at his own career, he suddenly realized that his time at the television station was precisely the period that made him grow the fastest. None of us like difficult leaders and unpleasant clients, but it is precisely they who force us to learn a great deal. I was inspired by a saying: if you have a strict, demanding leader who makes things difficult for you, forcing you to grow, cherish that person. If a leader scolds you once, it might be a bad thing. But if they scold you often, it might be a good thing. Those who create difficulties for you at work are often your benefactors in life. They are the ones who compel you to develop, to step out of your comfort zone, and to achieve self-improvement. All work always has its difficulties. These difficulties can come from objective factors, from others, or from the demands of the job itself. But no matter how difficult it is, the very process of doing this work is a waiting for a successful outcome, an effectiveness that is temporarily delayed, or a success that comes later than you expected. Whether a result is temporarily delayed or a success is coming later than you hoped, your job is to keep trying your best and continue. Not all efforts yield results. After many hours of confrontation, when the great fish was exhausted, Santiago seized the opportunity and tried his best to thrust his harpoon into the fish, finally killing it. Just as the old man rejoiced, ready to bring his prize home, a school of sharks smelled the blood and rushed to attack. After a fierce and resilient battle with the sharks, the old man ultimately could not save his fish. All he brought back was a skeleton, completely stripped of its flesh. All his efforts over the 3 days and nights had become meaningless in an instant. If he had brought the big fish back, the old man could have proudly shown his competence to everyone around him. But ironically, this time he still had to return empty-handed and accept everyone's ridicule. We are accustomed to the idea that what we put in should be directly proportional to what we get out. But there's a truth: hard work doesn't always pay off. I know a friend who works in IT research. He is very diligent and hardworking, one could say unusually disciplined. This friend spent 3 years meticulously researching a software product, but when it was launched into the market, it failed miserably. Many wondered how such a useful product, combined with the creator's diligence and intelligence, could meet such an unfortunate end. But that is the reality of life. Faced with failure and helplessness, some retreat, sinking into pain, discouragement, and resentment. But others continue to learn from their failures and fight to move forward. My friend is like that. He reminds me of a quote from an economics professor: every time we succeed, our IQ drops a bit. Every time we fail, our IQ increases a bit. We are not afraid of making mistakes at work, but we must be afraid of making the same mistake twice. People must learn to walk and also how to fall. Only after falling can we learn to walk more steadily. A truly strong person is not someone who never fails, but someone who can learn from their failures. Life is always full of difficulties and uncertainties. As we walk through life, there will always be many challenges waiting for us ahead. When you encounter hardship, please do not choose the easy way out and give up. Maintain an indomitable fighting spirit like old Santiago and overcome all obstacles. When you persevere until the very last moment, the light at the end of the road will always welcome you. And even in failure, you still need to have an open heart. At least you have persevered. Perseverance does not necessarily guarantee success, but if you don't persevere, you will fail. Remember the Nobel acceptance speech for the old man and the sea asterisk. Everyone should remember that courageous people are tested and forged in various circumstances to confront this cold, cruel world, not to complain about that great, tolerant era. The Old Man and the Sea Asterisk is a book worth keeping on your shelf. Reading it is like having a lighthouse always guiding your way. Please share this message with those around you to help them put aside complaints about work and study. Like old Santiago, always be ready with your harpoon, and eventually, you will catch the great fish of your life. Thank you so much for listening. See you in the next videos.